So, Savon, welcome to the Ink Exchange, our very first podcast, bro. The first one we've ever done. Like we were just talking about a second ago, I may mess up some things because I'm actually a little nervous. I've never done this before. It's a whole new experience for me. I'm super stoked, kind of like a kid at Disneyland right now, and I got a shitload of coffee going, so that's good.
It's all
um,
good. Glad to
but
be here.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna start off like every kind of one of these podcasts when it's a new guest. I'm gonna start it off kind of the same way with basically a short little summary, just so that way the people know who they're talking to. Obviously I know you a little bit now that as we've been communicating and talking and stuff, but other people that have not watched this that don't know who you are yet need to know, so that way they know, how who you are and how to find you and all that stuff. You
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So. So we got Savon here, man. How do you say your last name so I'm not mispronouncing it?
It's Mahano.
Mono?
Mahano.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I got a basic last name, bro. It's Luke. So it's
Luke.
like I got three first names. Yeah,
William. What's your
it's
middle
William
name?
Allen. Allen.
William Allen Luke. Yeah, that's two
Yeah,
first names right there. Yeah.
that's the like. There was. I love my mom to death, but there was no creativity with them. Yeah, man. So you've been
Good.
tattooing for now for 7 years. You are based out of I believe South Carolina, correct?
Yep. South Carolina, Mauldin, South Carolina. 7 years.
That's awesome, man. And I seen in the questionnaire, bro, which I appreciate you for doing, by the way. I appreciate that a lot that you took out the time to do that. That you got an AA, Associates in Arts, which is awesome. And I was reading through, which we'll get all that here in a minute, but how you kind of got started in the tattooing and stuff, which is super cool to me personally as a person that loves video games. I think that's awesome. So we'll get in that here in just a second. If you don't mind, if you want to, at this point, feel free to plug in any information that you want, where people can find you, shop name, anything you want, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just a little brief description about myself. Savon. I own a shop in Mauldin, South Carolina. I specialize in realistic color, neo-realistic tattoos. But I do other stuff too, like black and gray, realism, portraits, traditional, pretty much everything. But that's just what I kind of focus on is color realism. Um, yeah, that's a brief description about myself. 7 years in the industry, still feels like
Yeah, bro.
new.
Oh, dude, listen, you're crushing it too. I'm gonna if it'll let me, I'm gonna plug in with your permission some of the tattoos that I've seen you do,
Yep.
like that Jason mask you did the other day, bro. I was
Oh
like
yeah.
sending it to people. I was like, look at this shit, dude.
This is one of my
They were
favorites so
dope.
far right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
They're- and that was awesome, bro. And so I definitely will plug in that, and also just for everybody watching that, the whether you want to stop now, click, and go look around, but in the description of this post down at the bottom, we're going to put links to all his social media to where you can make sure that you can find him after this podcast. So don't worry, all that information will be readily available for everybody. But yeah, dude. So when you first started off, if you don't mind, like talk about that. I'm so curious. So you
Uh,
started off designing video games.
yeah, so I was going to school, bro, no interest in tattoos at all. Like never even crossed my mind. Like I was focused on art. I always knew I wanted to do something with art. So like I was always big into art when I was in high school, like painting, doing charcoal, like digital art, just anything that you can think of that was art related. I was interested. So I was going to school for video game design because I mean, I love video games just like everybody else. So I was going to school for video games. I was going to Greenwood Tech, and then which is out here in South Carolina, and I did my associates through them, and then I was going to Full Sail in Florida, which was the school I was supposed to be going to for game design and animation. But yeah, man. So long story short, my girlfriend she ended up getting pregnant, which kind of led me to not finishing school. So I'm like freaking out, man. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Like I really want to do this, try to make it work. We got a baby on the way. Like we got to take care of the baby. We gotta pay for this, pay for that. So I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So sitting in class one day. It's actually pretty cool because we were doing a project where we had to like design something like some kind of like the project was critical thinking. So I did, and everyone was doing PowerPoints and stuff, and I made like a whole animation video, and everyone was like, "Wow, wow, that's so amazing, that's so cool," stuff like that, right? So one of my buddies from that class, he was like, "Man, you should do tattooing." I'm like, "Nah, bro, that's not really for me. That's like permanent art on people's skin. Like I can't see myself doing that." So he kept pushing it, like, "Nah, bro, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it." So, and I was like, "Nah," kept turning him down every day. Like every day I'm coming in class, he keeps on pushing it, like, "Yeah, but come on, man, you can do it, you can do it." So one day I was like, "All right, look, man, I just can't." And then he was like, "Look, okay, if I buy you a tattoo machine, will you practice on me? At least give it a shot." I was like, "Yeah, it's a free machine. Why not?" Okay, so he bought me a machine, got into it, and then like I'm at first I'm like, "Dude, I don't know how this works. Like this is like kind of confusing, you know?" But the art was really cool. That's what kind of like drove me into it more. Like, man, if I could really do this, I feel like I could do some crazy cool artwork, you know? So I got interested into it. I wanted to learn more, wanted to like figure out what I could do to be better, all that good stuff. So I kept on practicing on him, and then here I am. Here I am, just kind of
Yeah, fast
got
forward.
into it, you know? So it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy
man.
how it works.
Dude, whenever you started off tattooing, was there like was there like did you have so well, I know when you very first started, when you first started tattooing your buddy, because I had like a similar kind of start somewhat as far as just kind of diving in, not knowing what I'm doing, tattooing on buddies and doing crazy stuff that I know I should not have been doing at that point looking back,
Yeah.
but that's what got me here, you know what I mean? So not no regrets at all, but when you was doing it, was there any kind of like was you able to like very quickly like find like YouTube videos or text a friend that was doing it or anything like that at all?
So out here in South Carolina, it's kind of like a very closed gated like industry out here. Like there's not a lot of people out here that want to like give anybody any kind of information or help anybody out. So there was a lot of gatekeeping out here. So yeah, I did see myself kind of like branching off to YouTube, looking at videos, but man, I felt like YouTube just wasn't enough. So I like reached out to like other artists and like other states, seeing if anybody would be willing to just kind of just a little bit, just help me out just a little bit. So I did find some good artists that was like, yeah, man, do this or try doing this better, like sending them my work and stuff like that. And they were like, yeah, you should change this, try using this, or just give me a little pointers here and there. And I found myself
Yeah.
paying for classes, traveling to other states, and like shadowing other artists, like just doing anything I could possibly do to get better.
Yeah,
Anything at
bro.
all.
So like right off the jump, one of the first things you did is you reached out to other artists in other states because like
Oh,
the I guess the local people wasn't trying to help.
yeah. Well, the first thing I did was I went from shop to shop. Like when I got real serious into it, I was like, man, I want to take this to like a whole nother level. I want to like I want to get into this. Like, I really just love the
Hmm.
art part of it, the art form of it. It was like a whole new medium. So I wanted to like explore more into that. So I went to shops, tried talking to people in shops, which was kind of nerve-wracking at first, because like, oh man, going to the tattoo shops, everyone got like the chains on and like the big old leather jackets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
bro. It can be daunting.
yeah, yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking at first. I'm like, man, this dude looks like he's ready to whip some ass, Like, but like, yeah, I was nervous, but I mean, I still went from shop to shop asking people, and after so many no's, I was just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I could figure something out. I gotta figure it out. Let me just try another approach, try something else. So that's what I did. I
That's
tried
what's
that.
up, bro. So did you, if you don't mind me asking, so like at first you was just because for me speaking for myself, that's kind of like how I got started. To be honest with you, bro, I was just had people begging me to do it at the house, which I'll tell all that later another time. But so I really want to focus on you. But kind of like just started tattooing at the house, and eventually I found a shop that was for me at least locally. It without like saying their names, all that stuff, and being disrespectful, to, like that. But it was not a great position, but it was like the only thing I could make happen,
Yeah.
at that time, and then leveled up from there. But did you find a home at first, before you started traveling and stuff in any shop, or like did you
Yeah.
open up your own or?
Before I opened up my own, I did manage to find one apprenticeship in Spartanburg around here. Where he was a great guy. He was like, take me in. Oh, he took me in. I was tattooing already, and then from what I did learn, so yeah, he
Mhm.
took me in. I was like, yo, as long as you've been tattooing, you're really good. I can see you like being really amazing in the next couple of years or so. So amazing, amazing guy. He had a shop. He took me in, but the problem was just it was just so far, like an hour and a half away from where I was staying. I couldn't do it. So um, I wish I could have made it work, but it just didn't work. But I forgot where I was going to with that. But yeah, after that, man, I just kind of just try to figure out whatever I could figure out. Try to learn as much as I could. Went to the house. Um, which I didn't like. I hated tattooing in the house, man. It just looks so
Yeah, bro.
unprofessional.
Uh,
But
that's a whole whew, that has its
yeah,
whole like pros and cons. We'll say,
yeah, it has a
uh,
lot of cons to it, but I mean,
yeah, bro,
yeah,
for
there's
sure.
definitely paying for quality, if you want to work in the shop. So, but
Yeah,
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 so
100%.
from the house, I found another shop, because my work started getting better. Then from that shop, I just kind of opened up my own shop because I was like, I'm just kind of tired from going from shop to shop and whatever. So I was like, if I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna try and do this on my own. Try to just. I didn't know anything about opening a shop, but I I tried and I did it. So which
Yeah,
wasn't
bro. It's
easy.
so like it is super hard, man. It's
Yeah.
super hard. It's really difficult, but it's worth it. Obviously, I mean, if anything, just to get you a platform to build up off of and transition or figure it out from there. But um, I mean, like with me, like when I first opened up mine, man, it was more out of wasn't even really desire as much as it was necessity. It was
Hmm.
like juggle, juggle, juggle. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I don't really have much of a choice in the situation I'm in right now. I just ain't cutting it. And there wasn't a better option.
Yeah.
But like when you did that, like how many years had you had been like tattooing at that point?
Let's see. When I opened up my shop, I was 24. So I've been tattooing for roughly 3 years, almost 4 years, and
Cool.
yeah, I had my shop for about 3 years now.
That's cool, man. So you've had the shop that you have now for 3 years.
Yes, yeah, about 3 years.
That's cool. What is? And by the way, if you don't mind, what's the name of your shop so
It's
people can find it, man?
yeah, yeah. So the name of my shop is Visionary Inc. With a Z, Vizioniary, in Mauldin.
Dude, I'm always so jealous of people's names for their shops. Like, I don't want. I'm not going to right the split second, but dude, I can name off like 9 of them that I just think's the best fucking name ever. Like, I'm like, damn, that's good.
Yeah, there's a couple out here that like name of the shots. So I think it's pretty cool. Like, dang, I wish I could have came up with that.
Yeah, man. Like,
But
dang it. It is what it is. We're here.
yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta make
man.
the best of it. But if I could go back
100%.
in time, man, what would I name this shot? Yeah.
Dude, if I could, I'm not gonna say the one just out of respect, but man, let me tell you, it's a well-known artist, and a friend of mine. He's got the coolest damn name for his shop ever, and I would not steal his name, but if I could have come up with it first,
Definitely would have had it, right?
oh, bro, it's so genius. They
Yeah.
so like now you're how so you've been tattooing for 7 years. You was 3 years in. That was now you're 3 years forward. And so much has changed. I imagine that you've witnessed in the last 7 years. Because bro, from our conversations, you've been heavy in this. You have been traveling all over. You said, which I'm
Oh yeah.
super interested in. all the conventions and stuff, man. And and I really like the way that you talk about things. From watching your live, even because I try to hop in there when I can't get in there as much as you can on mine. I don't know how you do it. You're like magic, bro. I'll scroll through and I'll click on your profile and stuff and try to catch you, and I never do. But they man, I seen you when you was tattooing, which I was really happy to catch some of that. I had to listen, guys. If you get a chance, go follow my man and on his TikTok when he's live and watch him tattoo. I literally had to stop in the middle of the night after I left my shop and had to grab some food and stop in a parking lot, bro, so that way I could watch some of this live before I lost signal with my cell phone on the way home. It's like, damn, bro, I wanted to see more of it.
Man, I try, man. I
But
try making it fun and energetic, man.
yeah, well, it comes off natural. I think, some people, man, just speaking from my personal experience, at least, some people are like, I think I say this a lot, right? And maybe you feel different or maybe feel the same. In the world of tattoos, it seems like to me, at least based off my experience, is that I would say like 98% of the people that walk through the door, we get the best side of. Like they're super fucking pumped to be there. They're excited, or even if it's a sad reason why they're there, like a family member passed or something, we still get the best side of them. Whereas, unfortunately, let's say they're at Starbucks or whatever, right? And their order gets wrong and they're rude because of whatever reason to the person behind the counter, or they just had to pay $1,200 to the mechanic for a transmission they don't feel like paying for, or maybe can't even afford. They just got to, so they might not get the best side of that person. Whereas I feel like for us, we get like the best side of everybody. It seems like Um, and I think everybody has that, or not everybody, but a lot of people have that kind of innate, side to them when presenting it.
Right.
Um, but some people, bro, are just likable. You know what I mean? They're just like easy to
Very
like
true.
listen to, easy to talk to. You know what I'm saying? You can tell like without like going into too much detail, just out of respect. But like with you, you're a family man, dude. You can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that you talk about your wife and kids and stuff like that, without going into detail, just out of respect. But is like you obviously love them. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like these
yeah.
things, when you talk about tattooing and you talk about like all these different things, you talk about it seems like from a perspective of love and admiration and humbleness and all them things. So it's pretty easy to talk to people like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You're like, okay, bro, give me a
absolutely.
hug. Let's talk.
Always,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
I think like the reason why we get the best side of people like that is because like especially if they're a returning client, it's not just the tattoo, it's the experience too. Like when they come in, they know that especially when the shop is welcoming. Like for your shop, for example, like when you step in, it's welcoming. Like people come in, they feel like they just know they're gonna get the best tattoo possible because of the way that the environment is. They come in, they're already in a good mood because they know that they want to get something that they really, really are passionate about getting. So I mean, it just we're naturally drawn to have that good side of people. But I mean, you do get some people that
Hmm.
have a bad day, like probably got into a car accident,
Yeah,
or just
yeah.
life happens. But I feel like what we do kind of brings out the joy of like people's lives, like most of the time people come and get a tattoo for a meaning, or an occasion or something like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's why we
Yeah,
do
I'm
that.
glad you say it like that too, man. Because like I try to tell people, well, like when talking to like say like artists at the shop or other like people in the industry, I try to like just from my viewpoint, I feel like it's kind of like 50-50, right? As far as like what's important. At the end of the day, people like some tattoo artists who will not be named forget that the most important thing here to me at least is that this is still a service industry. We're providing a
Yeah.
service and these clients matter. Like how like when you were saying the thing that drew you, one of the things that really drew you was the art. With
Mm.
me, to be honest with you, bro, it wasn't even at first the art. Like I didn't never draw or nothing. I was doing dumb things that didn't leave room for stuff like that in my life because I was an idiot. Uh, and hence why I went to prison, all the dumb things. But But one of my favorite things, and still to this day, is by far the favorite thing is the people,
The people.
because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, you know.
Yeah.
And if that person, you know, leaves with a good quality product, a good quality service, but also has a very quality experience, they're a hundredfold, you know, they're 10 times more likely to come back, right?
Yeah.
Or tell their friends at the bare minimum, you know. Whereas like they might go to a place and get like this dope ass tattoo, and it might be for even a great price, but they have a horrible
Hmm.
experience, they're not likely to come back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whereas they could go down the road to Joe Schmo, get a half-ass decent tattoo at a higher price, but have a fantastic time, and they're likely to go back there.
Hmm. Yeah.
They So I agree with you, man. It's so important the experience.
Yeah. The
They
people.
and
I agree with you too with the people, and not just like clients but artists as well. Like
yeah,
I met some really like terrible artists, not as like art in general, but just like as a person, you know, like just
right.
like super unfriendly, super like to themselves, you know. And I've also met some like really great artists that just like have a bright personality and just super bright with like what they do. They like care about what they do, and that right there too, I feel like it's just an experience altogether as well. Like for any artist's like art journey or tattoo journey, you know. So
Yeah. Dude, that's something that like blows my mind. I think that I don't even think it's like as much a like a you know, like you got that man, I hate to even say this, but you got man, even a person comes to mind, I'll never say their name. But you know, you got I'm gonna text you later. In fact, I can't wait to talk about somebody here in just a second because I want your opinion. And I hate to even bring this person up because they're like fucking Voldemort in my mind. Not that they're a bad person or nothing like that. But I'll say why here in just a second. But anyway, fucking Voldemort to tattoo, and I swear. But there's been like some people that are like tattoo artists and I've had so many clients that I, honest to God, I don't know how many, but they were like, we just appreciate you like talking to us and just being nice and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that should be the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be like, I don't care if we're in a grocery store, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
wherever, you know, but it seems like because I have not had the opportunity to, like you have, and you could probably speak about this in way better perspective and insight than I can because I have not been to nearly the shops. I've only been to like three or four shops ever. I've only now I'm getting to meet all these wonderful people like yourself, especially from across different state lines across the country. Actually, so this year, and it's extremely exciting to me. But clients always tell me they had like the worst experience with like the stereotype tattoo artist that's like got a stick up their butt and
Hmm.
I don't know if that really is true or not, but bro, to me, it's like I don't understand because we have one of the fucking coolest jobs ever. We literally get to go in and
Right.
hang out with people all day, draw them with like electric crayons, basically, and
Absolutely.
we get to make a living for our families in the process. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
dude,
Dude, we
like,
get to meet awesome people. We get to create awesome artwork. We get to provide an experience for people. You know, like we should be really truly grateful for what we're able to do. You know, and I feel like a
yeah,
lot of artists don't really quite understand that. Like that's what I feel like. If you're an artist that focuses more on money, you're gonna be more focused on like what I feel like it's kind of selfish in a way, but you're gonna be more focused about like what can you get out of this or what's best for you, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like those kind of like artists that like drive for just that part create those artists that are just like, oh yeah, that the stereotypical artists, you know, that everyone's like, oh yeah, artists are like this or like that or whatnot, like rude and but I mean, I feel like there's more to it than that, you know. Like we got into this because of the art, you know, and I feel like that's what most artists should like really consider, you know, the art, the people, you know, and amongst
hmm
other things. So it's just something that
yeah, man.
yeah, that people got to realize.
Dude. So I'll be honest with you. I think about this sometimes because I'm very motivated financially, obviously. But also with the art and stuff, I'm super intrigued. I'm very, very, very interested into like business things. Just like I
Hmm.
love listening. I'm no business expert by any means, but I love starting new businesses and like talking to other people that friends that own businesses. So the business side of things really interests me too. Of this, um, so I'm always like curious about like other people's like takes on like I don't know the way they market themselves or the way they structure their businesses or just whatever. Even like without going into too much detail, so I respect. I don't know what you want to share or not, but they just like we was talking about, like owning a shop with like multiple other artists and all the the things that come with that, versus just having like the bare minimum that you need that's comfortable and presentable and super affordable, and having like stress level down to here. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
rather than up to here. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
Everybody's super interesting. They so I guess like back up a little bit. So I just want to talk about this for a second. This is horrible. Have I don't even want to say her name, but I'm going to. Have you seen that Ariel DeZeus? If I'm saying that correctly, his tattoos. DeZeus, Ariel DeZeus.
I have not. Are they on a
Oh my
TikTok
god.
platform or Instagram or?
Oh, bro, I don't know if you got your phone on you right now. You should just click it. They
Yeah, I
it's
do.
so. Oh man, I can't wait to see your initial. I'll be honest with you, Savon. I'm a horrible person for this, and I really let me just say some disclaimers real fast first before you even do this, because um, this person, I do not know this person. This person might be a wonderful person in real life. I have some very biased opinions based off the things that I've seen, and from not knowing this person, and knowing nothing about this person's background or anything. But hear me out, bro. If I am doing tattoos and because we all have like a learning curve, right? In
Right.
fact, I even have. I'm not going to say it right this second, but I'll send it to you later, probably. But I even have one of my old business profiles that is still open in public, so that way I can go back and look at all the tattoos and stuff and be like, "Hey, bro, we all start somewhere." You know what I'm saying? And I'll
Hmm.
show that to people. Um, to like be like, "Hey, listen, this isn't where we're at now, obviously, but we all have there's a learning curve to everything, right? And we all start somewhere. So never am I judging people for none of that. But bro, if you are tattooing these people back to fucking back, okay, and putting fucking zero effort into this, at least
Yeah.
it appears, and there's literally you're getting famous for being the bad person in tattooing that doesn't care.
Oh, I
Me
know who
speaking
we're
for
talking
myself,
about now. I know.
do you?
Yeah. Yeah. But you
Have you seen
see,
yours?
that goes back to what we were saying about the experience. Like obviously the girl, well, the artist doesn't do amazing tattoos, so but it's like the experience, like how she makes them feel, like how she talks to them, how she makes them feel like they're comfortable in her chair, It's the experiences that she is providing, and that
Right.
just goes to show that it works, like
Do you think that like so? I feel like I don't know a good way to say this, and I'm trying not to be a prick, but at the same time also be honest. So like my thoughts and opinions and stuff. Without being again a prick. But I would like so when you post a video of a tattoo, right? Obviously, like you go live, right? I don't know if you've had this experiences, but when I go live, every once in a while I'll have this person get on there and just for fun they're like picking, or whatever. And sometimes I'll even tell the clients like, hey, I'll go on there and block them if they're bothering you or whatever. They're just being dumb as
yeah.
fuck. They don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And at first, I will admit though, the first couple of times I went live and somebody did that, I was like, oh, are they right? Like, well, let me stop for a second, like just in case. And then like I was like no, and then I clicked on their profile and it was like without ever naming names, it was just you could tell they're just starting off, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but with her though, man,
The
I
TikTok
see this.
trollers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah. The
do.
TikTok roll, fucking police
Yeah.
order. I see on hers, man, like this tattoo the other day. It was like this big old back piece tattoo or whatever. And it would bother me so much, not because of the tattoo that I did as much or me or my career, honestly, but I would never want my client to see the literal hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments talking about how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? I would never want them to feel like self conscious about that tattoo and be like, oh my God, what did I do? And if I seen comments like that on a tattoo, I would be like, okay, we need to fix this now. We need to figure something out, or I need to adjust or reevaluate whatever the fuck I got to do to make sure this never happens again. But
Yeah.
with her, bro, she must be like giving them the best experience they've ever had in their fucking life, and they must not. They must be oblivious to all the social media comments and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely,
Or her,
man. Definitely. It's definitely whatever she's doing, it's working. Let's just say
it's
that.
working, bro.
We can agree to disagree that whatever she's doing is working. Even though we
It
don't think it
is,
is working. It's working to her. But
dude.
um
It's working for marketing.
it's working. Oh yeah, whatever she's doing, it's working. But back to
Listen,
the
I low
TikTok
key.
trollers. I mean, I'm
Okay.
gonna say that even when I do a piece on live, I was doing that Jason piece and I had like almost 1,000 people viewers in there watching and like man the comments just kept on going and going and going and then it's like I had like 50, 60 people like well 50 or 60% of people like saying negative stuff and like the small percentage of people that's like saying oh yeah this is a fire tattoo like you're doing amazing keep up the good work it's gonna happen anytime, all the time. Like people are
Yeah.
going to do that. Like that's just what people do. So I learned to just kind of like tune it out. Like okay, yeah, I'm going live. But I'm going live to show them like okay, this is what my awesome work look like. Instead of going live and being like, I'm looking for you guys' satisfaction or whatever. People are gonna say what they want to say about a tattoo anyways. And nine times out of
Yeah.
ten, they're just gonna talk trash because you're either doing better than them or because they just want to down you because they can't do it. So
Yeah, man.
it
I
happens.
will say, just not even just tattoos, but just generally in life, it seems like
Generally in
that
life,
personality type,
yep,
bro. That personality type is like hit their ceiling, and unfortunately, they don't want to go past that, even though they probably could and do amazing at whatever they decide to do in life,
yeah,
And they're just mad as hell at the world. Like, dude,
yeah,
they.
man.
But I know. Was you like super nervous the first few times you went live?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I still do get nervous. Like I like okay, so
Uh,
like when I'm tattooing and I have a really cool piece I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, I really want to go live, but I'm like, I don't know how the client's gonna feel about me going live. I want to ask them, but then I get nervous about asking them, so it's like I'm not gonna go live, you know. But I also get nervous while I'm on live too. Like I'm still trying to figure out the mechanics of it, like trying to work out how live works and stuff like that. But I'm like, okay, can
yeah.
they see me tattoo? Are they not see me tattoo? What are they seeing? And then when people are not engaging, I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like I just get nervous. But I mean, now
Yeah.
I'm chill. I'm fine, I guess.
How does your and I'll speak about my experience right here in a second, but how does your with doing the lives? I have been doing them. I don't do them every single day. Just but I'm actually doing them more and more. Even with the smaller stuff, it seems like
Mm.
people are still interested as long as the clients are cool with it.
Yeah.
But how are your clients taking to it? Do they seem to like it or?
So I usually ask them before I go live, but well, I'd just be like tattooing and then be like, hey man, I'm thinking about going live. Are you cool with it? Nine times out of ten, they're like, "Oh, dude, yeah, what's your tag?" Because like
Yeah,
it
dude.
gives them engaged into it, and they're like, "Okay, well, if you're gonna go live, let me tell my buddy so he can check out my tattoo while I'm getting tattooed."
Yeah,
So now I'm just kind of like, yeah, I like going live more because like it makes the client more engaging into what you're doing. Like they feel involved
yeah,
with it. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I like it a lot more going live now than before. So,
Bro, every time I do it now, like I became like I'll kind of like give them like a little rundown first. I'll be like, hey, listen, if you're cool with it, okay. I don't know. Do you
yeah,
watch any of my lives? Okay, if you watch them, cool. You already kind of know what's going on. But if you don't, for the ones that don't, I'll be like, or the ones that just ain't been in there when I'm actually doing it before, I'll be like, all right, so check this out. If you're cool with this, we'll do this. And if you're not, don't feel pressured. Absolutely, you can just say no. I don't mind absolutely at all. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because like, yeah, I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing this for you. So if you don't like it, well, just say no because you're the most important thing in here right now. Okay.
absolutely,
So
yeah,
so don't feel pressured. And then I'll kind of like give them like a brief little rundown, if they're interested, which 98% of them are. like you said, they're stoked to be involved. You know what I mean? And they a
Oh yeah.
lot of them want to show their friends and stuff, whatever. I
Hmm.
know with me, at one point, I had it set up when I was trying to figure out, like, just even how to like set the equipment up and stuff. At one point, I had it set up to where I had a camera instead of using a dedicated phone. I had a camera that I had bought. I need to, like a little Sony ZV-F1 or whatever,
Yeah.
and I had like a wire running to the laptop, and I had it all like mounted on TV and stuff. Well, I had it set up to where that was directly over the tattoo, and they could see directly down like I do now with the phone. But I also had it set up to where I had the camera on the laptop facing us, and I would split the screen on
Yeah.
the live feed. Well, one thing I noticed is that people 90% of the time or more are super stoked to do it, but they don't want their face being shown. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's totally cool with the
Absolutely.
conversating part and all that, but they don't want to actually their face to be on there. So but they almost always are having fun with it, especially when you get their fucking friends in there and they join in.
Yeah, that's
Bro, it
yeah,
becomes like a party
absolutely.
session for them.
Some people are like really photogenic, and some people are just like, nah, I don't wanna be on screen. I
Yeah,
don't want them to see my face, or like, my ex-boyfriend might see this, or you know what I'm saying, something like
yeah,
that. But,
yeah.
which is since we're on the topic, and actually in my digital consent forms that we have at our shop, it's actually one of the questions, a yes or no question. Are you guys photogenic, and do you guys care if we use like any content purposes that show their face or anything like that, for like advertising or marketing. Just because
Yeah.
like, how some people could probably be, just in case. But
Yeah. I think it's always good. Speaking from a business perspective for a second, as far as the waiver forms, things like that, then we're kind of like barriers of entry in a sense. But I tell people things like that, like they're here to protect both parties. It's not just me, not just you.
right.
It's your acknowledgement and your protection that you're comfortable with these things because you can always say no, and no pressure. But like, so for example, I had somebody recently because doing the lives, man. One of the coolest things about this is that people get on there and they ask all these questions and stuff about tattooing, especially whether they're just interested or they're like aspiring artists or they're already tattooing. They just want some help, like we do. Like I'll hit you up and ask you a question, or I'll hit up all kind of people all the time, be like, "Yo, bro, what do you think? Like, have you
Yeah.
tried this?"
Yeah.
So, and we all know we've been there and we still do it. At least speaking for myself, I know I do. I'm sure you do. But when they're doing this, I had some people asked me recently about apprenticeships. A lot of people, are always asking. I had probably, man, I don't even know, like no exaggeration, like 8 or 9 people in the last 2 weeks alone trying to get an apprentice with me, and I'm like, I can't right now. Um, although we although we are about to take on one, and I'll get into all that later. But why? But
Yeah.
love you, Dylan. But shout out to Dylan if you watch this.
It's kind of crazy because we see a lot more people trying to get into it now. We see a lot more apprenticeships now than we have probably ever in the past couple of years. I don't know if you noticed that either, but there's a high like percentage of like more people trying to get into tattooing now than ever. I feel like.
There is. There
Yeah, I
absolutely.
feel like that it is. Yeah.
My camera did something weird. And I don't know if it like spun around. It's on this DJI thing and it spun around to its learning curve. So I hope can you still see me good?
Yeah, I can still see you good. You're good.
So yeah, there is a lot of people trying to get in, and like somebody was talking to me the other day. They were asking my opinions about, and not get into detail of the places, just out of respect for the people and all the things. But they were asking me questions about like the contracts and stuff, or should there be, and all these things. And I was like, in my opinion, personally speaking, absolutely there should be, because whenever you have contracts set in place, right, like say with a place that you're going to be doing an apprenticeship with, if you have a contract in there, it protects you and the client, or you and the shop, right? It should, in my opinion, at least have a general outline of like, hey, this is what to expect. This is like a rough timeline, uh, rough cost, or some set fees included, or like it should have as much thought put into it as possible to protect both parties. You know what I mean? Um,
Absolutely.
So I think stuff like that's a good thing, not a bad thing at all. Even though it can be daunting, it can be a lot.
Absolutely.
They
How what's your opinion on taking apprenticeships? Like how do you feel about like taking in apprenticeships? Like cuz I know like the reason why I ask that is cuz I know that there's a lot of tattoo artists nowadays where they're just like, "No, we're not taking in no apprenticeships. We're not teaching anybody," or I guess back to the stereotype artists that we've been talking about. So, what's your opinion on taking in apprenticeships now, you know?
um, well, man, actually, I wasn't trying to plug this in, but I'll say something here in just a second and plug something in. I wasn't intentional. Let me say that up front. Um, but because of this question, I am very, 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 very probably way too. My thought process on apprenticeships has actually changed. More so over the last couple years or year than it ever has. Then it's evolved. My opinion and thought process on both what an apprenticeship is, who should get one, and all the things. Um, but I go back and forth with what I'm actually about to say. So, I'm actually a couple years ago I started putting together a course to sell people to aid people as a just a basic fundamentals of tattooing course, right? And I'm actually about to take that back off the shelf, and I'm gonna really start working on that over the next because we're repainting the shop, doing new lights and all the things. And over the next couple months, as I get that done, I'm really going to focus on getting that course done. Now, that course, and then I'm getting to the point here in just a second, but that course is to teach the basic fundamentals and as best you can from an online course perspective, at least, because we both know there's no substituting or there's man, you really need that one on one. You know what I mean? You need that hands on experience. You got to be in the shop, doing the things right. So I hate these.
Absolutely.
I hate any kind of course that's like, dude, if you do this, you're gonna be a millionaire in 6 months. Like, maybe, but I think
Hmm.
like courses for supplemental education is phenomenal. I don't think they're speaking for myself as of right this second. Providing quality information to people is better than not, in my opinion, because at least you have a now, people might argue about with what I'm about to say, and they might even have good reasons for why they would disagree. But um, I think it's better to provide people with the right education or information, at least, and quality information, rather than gatekeeping it and not, because you have less people getting into the industry and doing bad things. At least they have, they're more able and likely to do the right things. Like for example, years ago, right, even me, like very first starting off, I didn't know, like it only took me like literally, no time at all. I mean, just a little bit of reading, to find out like, oh, this thing, how that works. But just say like from a cleanliness perspective, right, cross contamination stuff, you know i I was told at first, as crazy as this is now looking back, that little metal tubes, you just had to clean them, get the physical stuff out, and then boil them, you're good to go, right? There was never no talks of like level two disinfectants or anything like that at all. Cross contamination, how that worked and stuff, nobody explained that at first. Just the bare basics of just being clean. You know what I mean? Which is like one of the most important parts of this whole process, right? That should be the
Hmm.
like bare minimum. But I had even trouble finding that quality information even surrounding that topic. So I think like providing good quality information for people is very important personally, and I see more upside than I do downside. Now, as far as like the apprenticeship thing goes with that, man, just speaking for myself, and I would love your take on this actually. So I I used to, I'd be like, bro, I'll teach anybody as long as you're a good person. You can show up. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even want no money from you or anything. My thought process was, if you're going to be successful, awesome. And if not, awesome. Whatever you decide to do in life, cool. I'm still going to do me, and I don't mind. I'll try to help anybody I can. Now, my thought process as far as like if I would take on an apprenticeship or who and all that stuff, and how that works has changed a little bit. Or like should you pay or should they pay or should it be free, or how that works, which I'm really interested in your your opinions on that. But
Right.
I don't think I would take on just anybody nowadays. In fact, I know I wouldn't. I turn them down constantly, and I'm not going to make somebody pay me to do an apprenticeship only because a lot of the people that are really hungry for things don't always have the access to the finances to begin with, and I was one of those people.
True.
When I first started off, man, I was charging at a shop 4 hour sessions for $75, and I had to pay to be there, pay for all my own supplies, get all my own clientele. Like, struggle is real. You know what I mean?
Struggle is real, man. Starting out, the struggle is always going to be real.
Yeah.
Always.
How do you feel about apprenticeships though? Like, have you taken on any ever, or have you?
I've taken on a lot of apprenticeships. Now, granted, I would probably say with me first opening up my shop, I probably shouldn't have.
Mhm.
Looking back at it now, because I'm still trying to get the shop up. I'm still like putting in the groundwork, trying to put the shop name out there, trying to bring new people in. It's a lot to do while taking on an apprentice at the same time. So if I could go back and do it all over again, I probably wouldn't have taken any apprenticeships until probably about year three, year four. Um, and I had a lot of unsuccessful apprenticeships
Mhm.
and well, apprentices, excuse me. Um, but my take on it now is if you're a dedicated artist, if you got a really strong portfolio, you're really passionate about this, and you really really want to try, you want to be here every day, show up, draw, talk to people, like put your time into the shop, then I think that yeah, they would be a really good dedicated like apprentice to actually take in. Um, which is crazy because a while back I promised myself I would never take in any more apprentices, right? Then like had apprentices with people coming in trying to, hey, you guys taking apprentices, like calling, you guys taking
I
apprentices,
hate when they
walking up to
call.
the shop. I'm like turning all these people away. I'm like, nah, man, no, 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 right? So then one day this guy comes in, I'm looking at his work. He asked me, he's like, yeah, you guys taking apprenticeships? I'm like, no, man, I don't, but I will still look at their portfolio. I'm not going to turn someone away if their portfolio is not like, I'm just going to still look at the portfolio. So, looking at the man's portfolio, and I'm like, just flipping through it, and I'm like, this guy got some really good work. So,
Like
if
tattoos or like drawings or
he had
sorry.
drawings, he had charcoals, he had Prismacolor. He had some, I think it was some acrylics in there as well, graphite, stuff like that. And his work was really, really good. It was high grade work. And he came in with this nice portfolio book, like everything was laminated, you just flip it through it.
He put
Really
every
solid portfolio. It spoke dedication into his
right.
portfolio. So he made me go ahead and just break that promise. I was like, look, man, I will take you in, but the moment I feel like you're not taking it serious, I said you're out the door, bro. You
Yeah.
know. But he's here. He's at the shop, and he's doing tremendous, and he's about to hit his skin. So he's
Okay.
doing he's doing amazing. Like his
That makes
his uh his work ethic is amazing. But going back to what we were talking about as far as like should an apprentice pay or not, I feel like as a dedicated artist, like in well, like established artists like you and myself, we had to pay for our knowledge. We had to have trials and errors. We had to, see we know what worked because we were seeing what failed. So our knowledge of what we have is extremely rare to some people that
it.
don't have it. So something like that is valuable. So I feel like, yeah, it should be a paid, well, they do have to pay for an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And if they can't afford it, then what I usually do for myself, I don't know about other owners or like other artists, I just kind of increase their percentage rate until they can like actually, you know, pay off for that tuition fee that they would have had if they can't afford it.
Well, that's genius. I would love
Um,
to talk more about that off camera with you actually later. That's genius.
yeah. But I know a lot of people they do pay for apprenticeships. Some people find that it's that they shouldn't pay for it. But I mean, if you go to college right now, they're gonna ask for a tuition fee,
Bro,
you
yeah.
know?
That's
So I mean,
an example actually.
yes, I mean it's a perfect example. Like if you go to college as of right now, they're gonna ask for a tuition fee. They're
Yeah.
gonna ask for your books. They're gonna ask for you to have your materials. They're gonna ask for you to pay for all this stuff. You know, because we're paying for knowledge to go to college for learning a degree to get a degree, which is their, you know, they're signed off from their apprenticeship program, which is essentially the same thing, you know. So I do feel like it should be a paid, well, all apprenticeships they should pay for, but I feel like if it's not affordable, then there should be some kind of like middle ground between the owner and the apprenticeship, you know, just to try and figure out what they can do, or a different route, which is reason why I do the higher percentage rate for when they first start.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's a smart workaround, man, to make things work for you
Yeah,
and them. That's kind of genius because yeah, because like like with my apprenticeship, without saying the name or nothing like that, the place that I started off at, man, they it was an apprenticeship, and there was things I learned there, and I did get my start there, so I have to say, I appreciate that, you know what I mean, for sure. But it was more
absolutely.
like, dude, let me like fast track this right real fast. So we got in there at first. I'm there, and mind you, I have $0, bro. Like I'm struggling to the max financially at this point in my life. And I I had to pay. I think it was like, which was totally fair, and the first things at first was very fair in my opinion, at least. Whether affordable for me or not at the time, you know what I mean. I had to, to pay for my own permits, license, blah blah whatever. But I had to, and of course, my own supplies, everything like that. I had to pay them like $20 a day for the days that I was there, and I could keep whatever I tattooed and financially myself, and I could just tattoo as soon as I walked through the door, right? There was
Right.
no breaking anything down. You know what I mean? There was no like no thought process on any kind of like education, like we're going to teach you this or that. There was no nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, here, show up. Maybe you can ask some questions. You know what I'm saying? Which, hey, I still
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that though, because that got me started, right? Um, it helped. It had its part for sure. But then that turned into a very quickly, without still like little to no educating at all. We need to pay $100 a week no matter what, whether you're here or not. Cool, get that, respect that. And then the last 6 months I was there, bro, they wanted me to pay. It was like um, $200 now, and I'm saying without going into names and stuff. There was a lot of greed because they lied to me about certain things, like which really ain't even my business, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I will say that. But they were communicating with me, so I'm not dumb about what they were trying to do or what they were doing. Um, Instead of just like having an honest and real conversation with me, they were lying to me about what they were paying for rent and stuff, and saying that it increased at their location. And what they wanted me to do then for like last 6 months that I was there, I was paying like $200 a week plus half of electric bill, half the water bill, half the internet bill, half of cleaning costs. Plus, they wanted me to literally open up my own tattoo shop inside their shop. So they wanted me to open up my own tattoo establishment. Like in the state of Florida, you have to have a tattoo establishment permit. You have to have biomedical waste permit, your own biomedical waste pickup. All these different things. They wanted me to open up all that stuff inside the same location with my own LLC, and then put my own business name on the front door, but it still be their
Like
location.
subleasing, basically.
Basically, yeah, in the same tattoo shop.
Wow.
So like what it really was is that I was paying because I know what the rent was and stuff. You know what I mean? Like instead of just having an honest conversation with me, they what it was, I was paying the rent plus a lot more. You know what I mean? And they wanted
Yeah.
separate. They wanted to be separated from me legally to protect themselves. I think, right? Which we could have worked
Yeah.
around. Been no big deal, you know. But that's why, like, not to get off topic, but that's why I had to kind of a year and a half in had to open up a shop that I damn sure shouldn't have been opening, bro. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like the apprentice thing, I think that to get back to that, I think you was right there, or you're right because if you go to any like school for anything, there's a barrier of entry, and there's a reason for that because it's valuable, and there needs to be some kind of. I'm not big on government stuff. Let me just say it up front. I'm all about local and small government. I don't like big brother stepping in. I fucking hate them being involved when at all possible. But to be honest with you, like, bro, you can't. Our Pentagon can't pass an audit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying. they but but I think there should be some level of governance. You know what I mean? So I think like creating that barrier of entry is very good and healthy for the industry, and also healthy for the people that are involved, not just as the industry as a whole, but the individual, because they are very much invested. And the more a person invests into something of their own, to a certain point, it's healthy because they're going to put that much more of themselves into it, and they're, I think, to a point with
Hmm.
that, they're going to be more likely to succeed. If things are too easy for most people, they'll just drop out or quit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It gives them that form of dedication. Like if you hand someone something for free, they don't technically have to owe you anything. Like they don't have to put anything with it or whatever. But if you tell them like, okay, look, I'm gonna give you this, but you gotta pay for this, or I need some kind of return and investment from it, you're gonna be dedicated to work that off and pay for it, you know? Like I feel like that's just how it kind of work, you know. Like if you give an apprenticeship for free, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna really take it as serious because like it's free, you know.
Yeah,
So
man.
I feel like it goes more into it than just like the actual okay, yeah, the you gotta pay for your spot here or so on, but more so like giving them that dedication, like okay, look, I need to make sure that I'm not wasting my time, and I need to make sure that you're not wasting your time because if we're gonna waste our time, then you don't need to be here,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
I feel like it goes more to it than just like, oh yeah, and a lot of people don't look at it that way. They just look at it like, oh yeah, the owner he's just trying to get money off of it, or that's a red flag, or this and that. But from our end as an owner experience, they don't really understand what comes with the fact that we are taking in someone to take our time away from our shop to
yeah,
put into somebody else that wants to learn tattoos that we don't technically have to teach them. You
yeah.
know, so it's a lot that goes into it that people don't really actually look at.
No, they don't. And I'm glad you said it like that too, because we really. I always say that anything. So, like, how's this? Like, let's say a person, and no offense to the people that work at McDonald's, shout out if you watch this, but let's say a person that works at McDonald's that makes, like, most likely they're just starting off or whatever it is, but they don't make a lot financially, right? Let's say that person that works there, like, I don't know what the minimum wage is even nowadays, but I have no clue. But let's say $50 an hour, right? Let's say they go buy something for me and they give it to me and it costs $30, right? Like a steak dinner or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. In my eyes, I'm extremely appreciative because that person just gave me 2 hours of their life. Okay. I don't give
Hmm.
a damn about the steak, the money, none of that other stuff. They gave me 2 hours of their life. You know what I mean? That is like, that's the most precious thing a person has is their time. You know what I mean? Like, and they gave a portion of that to me by doing that. You know what I mean? Assuming that of course, there's how much time do for your exchange of money and all the things, but to be factored in. But still, the point remains the same. So you're really dedicating a portion of your life to that person and investing into them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're investing your time, your effort, your shop, your space, you know, your money, your resources, like you're investing a whole lot into one person, you know, just for them to maybe take it serious, you know. So yeah, I mean I to sum it up, yeah, I feel like an apprenticeship should be paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, just to get off topic, or not, I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm curious. I really, really agree too with what I'm about to say. But so your style of like tattooing, right, is like you called
Mhm.
it neo realism, and it's fucking cool, bro. And you really do
Yeah.
have a style. Like, you for sure.
Yeah.
I struggle with that, man. I have no clue. We've talked about that, but like like niching down and stuff like that, or how do you
Yeah.
represent yourself? I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know. I struggle with that constantly and go back and forth. But
It's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like developing a style or a niche is it's really hard because like especially now more than ever because back then you had a lot of artists that was getting into it, but we had to do the bare minimum just to like even keep just to keep our names out there. Like
yeah,
back then it was like, okay, we don't have to really post TikTok videos or do reels or try and do all these other stuff to try and put our name out there. It was just you just had to do good work, you know, and people was attracted to that good work. But nowadays, it's like, okay, you don't just gotta do good work. You gotta find your own style. You gotta like, do reels, collaborate with other businesses. You gotta. It's so much more now than ever because you got so many artists that's trying to get into the tattooing world, and it's just like there's so many good artists, but what makes you different, you
yeah,
know? So I try to bring my personality and like my art style into my art. So like I like doing the realistic, the neo realism because I love pop culture and I love like games and anime and stuff like that. So that brightness that I love, like my character is like really bright, like bubbly kind of stuff like that. So I try to bring my personality into my art style, So that's kind of, I don't know how I came up with it. It just kind of happened. I started doing more of it. I focused on one thing and I just started doing more of it and it just became a thing. So
Yeah. Dude, it pays
yeah.
off. Like somebody said to me, and I don't know if you do this or not, but like when I look at your page, it looks very, very intentional, right? Like every post looks very intentional and it's all curated. It seems to be, at least, I don't want to speak for you, but it seems to all be
Mm.
curated to match, like, that aesthetic look that you're going for. And you do a very good job of that. I highly
I try
recommend.
doing my best.
Yeah, if anybody's watching this, man, and sorry to interrupt you again, brother, but if anybody's watching this,
Good.
and I highly suggest that you go on to Savon's Instagram, if anything, if nothing else, just go on his Instagram and look at that and see how that's all curated together and see what I'm talking about. Even like his business page, man, it's curated to hit that aesthetic like look, and he does a very good job at that. I think that's super important.
It
You
is.
know, man, like
I'm I'm
hobbies. Oh,
oh,
God,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I'm really big on like you attract what you put out. So I try posting, not to anybody that is watching, not that I don't like the tattoo. Like you ever get artists or clients that be like, oh, why didn't you post my tattoo? Or
Yeah,
why didn't you post this one,
it's so
Or when
bad.
are you gonna post it? But like, it's not that I'm not posting it because I don't like it or I like there's something wrong with it. It's just that I'm like I post what it is I'm trying to attract, and I'm really big on that. So like if I do like a lot of horror tattoos or a lot of like realistic black and gray, then I feel like if you keep posting that, that's what clients will see, and then that's gonna attract more clients of. So if I'm like a big old lettering artist, if I'm a lettering artist and I post black and gray, I'm gonna attract more black and gray, not my lettering.
Right.
So that's kind of the reason why I do it the way that I do.
Let me ask you a question. I say I've kind of started. I realize, and I'm really focusing and honing more in on this, I guess, especially now. But like we're remodeling the shop and stuff to really hit some points that should have already been done, honestly, previously. And but not that like it was bad or anything, or disgusting in the shop or anything like that. But we want to curate that aesthetic look to match the vibe that we want to go for and be very intentional about it, instead of just random things
Right.
that we thought was cool and just throw on a shelf. You know what I mean? Um, Although it is cool stuff, so I was like
Yeah,
almost
it's
if you
cool
take
stuff.
it down, I was like, damn, whatever, just because I like it, but at the same time, like, so one artist that I met at one of that convention, he said what he does is he takes his personal brand, right, his which is him, he curates all that to draw in all the clients for the stuff that he really wants to do, right. He doesn't just
Hmm.
post, if it's not something that fits the aesthetic vibe of like the what he's going for and shooting for his personal brand, he doesn't post it. But then he's got the business page, which draws in obviously a lot of locals and all the things and helps pay the bills if nothing else. But on that one, he doesn't just post anything, I'm sure, but he still posts a lot of variety. And I've
Right.
realized,
Yes.
do you do this? I know I'm starting to do definitely the same
Absolutely.
thing, but do you do that?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
ticket, right?
That's what you do, yeah. Like if I do a portrait, like every now and then I will post my portrait tattoos, but if I do a portrait, I'm not posting it on my personal because I'm not attracting that. I will post it on my shop page and then like just like tag myself into it, my personal page into it. So that people can still see that okay, I am capable of doing this kind of work.
Right.
But for the most part, when they go to my personal, they see everything that it is that I do or I'm trying to attract. But yeah, I do that as well.
Something else too, like I love like, well, two things that you said I really really love. But one thing, man, like you was just talking about, Javi actually said this. Him and his wife was discussing this. Shout out to Javi and your wife, bro. Y'all are amazing. If you watch this, but they were so right. Nowadays, you can't. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know, but it seems to me, based off personal experience, I'm sure you attest this. You can't just be just the tattoo artist. You got to be marketing expert, photography expert. Like, oh man, you got to
Yeah.
be so well rounded.
Yeah, we gotta do everything. We gotta be the assistant. We gotta be the bookkeeper. We gotta be the photographer. We gotta be the artist. There's so much stuff that we gotta do, and that goes back to what we were saying too. Like back then, it was so much easier.
Yeah,
We didn't have to do all of this stuff, man. We all we had to do was come in the shop, have a great vibe, do a tattoo, post it, and
yeah,
go on about our day.
yeah.
Now we gotta like come in, record when we're coming in, record when we're tattooing, before and after when we're tattooing. We gotta try and make videos. We gotta post these videos, post at certain times, do all these captions and hashtags and
Bro,
collaborating, and it's so much more we gotta do, man. So
it's a
much
lot.
more.
It's a lot, and
It's a lot. It's a
it,
lot.
especially like with you being I have a family, I have a wife and son. Man, I feel bad sometimes because I'm like, dang, I need to pay attention right a second, but also I need to reply to 15 people, post these 4 different pages stories, and like edit this thing, and like I know I'm done tattooing, but I didn't have time to do the 1900 other things yet. They,
Yeah, yeah. And that it's especially hard for us too as like business owners and shop owners because we gotta manage our personal time, the shop's time, and our personal business brand. Because even though that we're the shop owner, we
mhm.
have our own brand that we're doing and the shop brand at the same time. Like you have your own individual clients as well as the shop got their clients that coming in and out. You got to manage your artists' clients and stuff like that, the marketing and all of that stuff. So we got a lot that we got to that's kind of like merging in together. So we just got to like really figure out a way how to balance that out for the most part. So it can be a lot on us. It really can.
Yeah. I like the way that you talk about tattooing too, man. Like I was watching your live, and I agree with this so much. Like when you was talking about tattooing, and they were like, "Man, that needle is I don't know what size. I'm just gonna say it was probably like a 20 or something like that, whatever it was, 25, whatever." But they were like, "Dude, that thing's like a paintbrush," and you're like, "Yeah, it pretty much is, bro." Like
Yeah,
literally,
it's paintbrush. Yeah,
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 yeah. I mean, I feel like the way people look at things too can make a big difference. Like when I tattoo, I just look at like the needle like it's just a paintbrush. Like the way you angle it, the way you blend it, the way you stroke it, everything is just a different form of art. That's
when you was
basically what
talking
it
about
is.
like the apprentice, what you're looking for in an apprenticeship, I think I think we probably look for some of the same things. Like, speak for myself, like one of the things I'm looking for with people is just like innate artistic ability. Like, even if you're a person, like, let's say, like I always feel like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I always feel like some people just have certain things and they don't, right? Whatever that, like, I'm never going to be Michael Jordan, bro. I wish, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I'm like
Yeah.
5'10", 5'11". I ain't dunking shit. I promise you. You know what I mean? I ain't got that talent, bro. Or like the genetics, you know what I'm saying? So but like I have some people come in sometimes and and some things can be built on upon, you know what I'm saying? Not hating on nobody. But they might not be the best communicator or whatever. But like they might show me some like, and I'm like just talking through a drawing that they did, and it might be trash, but just like and not trying to be judgmental or nothing like that. But everybody starts somewhere, even with like the art side of things. Forget about tattooing at all for a second. Like everybody starts somewhere, but you can tell like they just from communicating with them, they get it. They understand like when you're talking like form
Hmm.
or composition or texture or whatever. Even if they don't know all the names and they don't know the educational side of things to like discuss it in depth, they get it. You know what I'm saying?
They
Like
get it.
natural.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people like that, man, the transition from like or from charcoal or acrylic or fucking pen and paper or whatever, doesn't matter, to tattooing is like 100 times easier.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I feel like the more mediums that you do before tattooing increases your level of tattooing. Um, like for instance, before I was tattooing, I was doing acrylic. I was doing acrylic. I did charcoal. I did graphite. I did digital art. Um, so I feel like all you're doing is just taking what you've learned and you're transferring it over to tattooing. Like I know this one girl that she's a tattooist, amazing tattoo artist, and she I don't know how she does this. There's no way I'll be able to even trust myself in a million years to be able to do this. But she can actually free tattoo, like free machine on someone's skin by looking at the person, like portrait and everything,
Oh, yeah,
like
I'm not there.
color, full realistic color portrait just
Nope,
by looking at someone on skin.
no. That
Man, there's
dude,
no way.
sorry.
There's no way.
I would be
She's
so
actually
jealous.
she's a famous tattoo artist too. Well, she's pretty known. She's based in Texas. She's I forget where she's from, but she's not originally from here. But she does oil painting. She does charcoal, acrylics. She does regular graphite. She does anything you could possibly think of, man. Like
Is she from
very
like,
talented.
Germany or something like that by any chance?
Is she from where?
Like the UK or something like that by any chance? Like Germany or
Yes, yes,
dude,
yeah,
I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like just, and it's not like I know all these artists or nothing, but I mean, I know a few that I've made friends with that we communicate with online or whatever, you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of these places they're getting shit on because they're like the artist. Because bro, it seems like there's so many freaking amazingly talented people from like just that these areas, and then when I don't know if it's all like that, and I hope it's not, but like you like talk to them, like there's been some of them, bro. I'm like, dude, you're like 10 times better than I am, and I make more money than you do. That I'm able to charge more per hour, and that should not be a thing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
dude, you're fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like you're
yeah,
so cool and you're so nice. You know, like God, these people need to be able to pay you more. But the average, maybe the I don't know. I don't understand the cultural difference or economics behind any of that. But and maybe it's not like that everywhere. It just seems to be that they are not able to charge as much in these places, and I don't know why. Maybe somebody will chime in and tell me. Honestly, I would love to know. I won't keep you for
definitely too.
too much longer because I know we're kind of been on this for a while, man. I know you got a family.
No,
Just real
it's all
quick,
good.
I did want to ask real quick though. I know you started. So you've traveled. And I'm very. I ain't gonna lie. I'm jealous of this. I think it's so cool. So like getting to like have this conversation with you for me is like Disneyland, bro. Like going to that convention. That first one was like Disneyland for me because I have never really
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
opportunity to speak to a lot of artists and around like locally they're not so kind. You know what I mean? Or they're not ones you really want to talk to anyways, not trying to be mean, but they don't care, so they're not trying to learn, they're not trying to progress, whatever. Or like I said, they're just not nice, you know. So
right,
which sucks, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense at all. Uh
right.
but you have got to go to so many cool places and meet so many cool people. You should start a podcast, bro. You probably have so many people on there. They so like the very first place you went, if you don't mind, how was that? Where'd you go? Like, whether it be convention or just
Man, I don't. Let's see. The very first place that I got to go. Well, I'll probably say it was New York. Just because, like, for one, I'm originally from New York.
okay.
So I came from New York down to South Carolina. Well, before that, it was Virginia and then South Carolina. But anyway, before I was actually tattooing, I was already doing a lot of traveling. I was going back and forth to New York like 4 times a year. Um, I'm a very like in the moment, spontaneous kind of person. So like if I could just be sitting on the couch one day, just chilling, playing the game, and then I'd be like, cool, we should go to like North Carolina or something, and then I'll go and get up and do it, just pack some clothes real quick and go just do it, because why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I went to New York. That was kind of like the first thing I did. When I got into tattooing, I was going to New York a lot. I was going to New York maybe, yeah, about 3, 4 times a year, man. And I don't know, just the culture, the art culture of like New York versus out here is just so much more different. And I loved it. I love like talking to people, and not just that, but like just the general ideas of like people have when they want to get tattooed. It's I feel like it varies from state to state. Like in New York, people are like, yeah, bro, just put it on me. We could do this, or like, whatever you want to come up with. Like I had this one guy, he came up with this really cool idea. He was like, he wanted to do a portrait and he wanted to have like his head blown off and like galaxies and stars coming out of the head and like planets and stuff like that. So I was like, bro, that's a cool idea, you know, like nobody in South Carolina would have never came up with this.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and South Carolina is like, oh yeah, bro, I found this picture on Google. I want to get it. You know, I'm like, bro, you want to get it just like that? He's like, yeah, bro, just like this. You know, like so. I feel like every state is different. You know. But yeah, I went to New York. Loved it out there. Loved tattooing out there. Honestly. That was probably the first place I've ever been to. You know, as far as tattoo wise. Been out to like Dominican Republic and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. It was fun.
If
California.
is there any
Go
place
ahead.
you wrote you, but I just want to say this real fast, just in case other artists do watch this in the future. Is there any place that you haven't been that you would really, really love to go? In case there's any badass shops out there that see Savon and want to invite them, fucking like, I know me, dude. I want to just go anywhere. So like, I don't really.
Anywhere.
They're
Yeah.
nice and they're cool. But is there any like really like some places that you would just really love to go?
Man, I want to go to. I really want to go to Canada. I want to tattoo in
Yeah,
Canada.
bro. Yeah.
Canada. Where else? I want to go to like inside the U.S. I want to go to like Colorado. I got a buddy in Colorado that owns a shop. He told me I could come at any time. So definitely one day I want to go out there. Let's see. I don't know, man. I'm down for anything. I'm
Yeah.
literally down for anything. I'll go anywhere.
Dude, we're gonna get you down to Florida as soon as possible. I'm gonna hound you until
Yeah.
the schedule lined up, dude. They
Yeah, we'll figure something out. I will definitely be out there. I had a lot of people hit me up and ask me when I'm coming back too. So it
yeah.
looks like I already got a lot of people lined up.
Dude, if which you already could get clients, but even if not, I'll get you a client, no problem. They,
All right, bet.
your work speaks for itself and personality too, man. So that wouldn't be an issue. But dude, real fast, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about this or not, but I the Tampa, the reason, the way, one of the first time when you stopped by the shop and we met, which by the way, sidetrack, that was your mom that was with you, right?
Yes, that was my mom.
Yeah, dude, listen. So she was so sweet. She was saying something. I don't know if you heard of what she was saying, bro. But so she was saying that she liked to draw and stuff, and she was saying that when you first had started getting into this, right? She was like, you could tell by the way she was talking about you that she's super proud. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
super
she
cool.
is.
That's a blessing. And she was like, man, she was like, what'd she say? She was like, yeah, I told him just like, go do it. Let me see. You know what I'm saying? And I can't remember exactly how she said this, so I'm probably going to butcher this. So just in case you see this, mom, I'm sorry. But but she was like, I'll tell you whatever's wrong with it, and you go fix it, or whatever, or I'll tell you my opinion. And she said eventually he just come to me and started showing me things. There's nothing I could say, just except wow.
Yep,
You know what I mean? And I was
yep,
like, yeah, she was proud, bro. She should be. But
yeah,
the reason I met you though, the Tampa Bay thing, dude.
yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah,
months
man.
later, like.
Oh man, it was bad. It was bad. Like, uh, to start, I found this convention. You know, I like going to conventions. So any convention I could possibly go to, even the ones that are like really small, I like going to the smaller conventions because like there's a lot more reach for it. It's upcoming. You got like newer artists and you got like really talented artists that's coming there showing off some really good work. So it's like kind of like college versus NBA, you know, like or
Okay.
or college versus like the professional league or whatever. Like the smaller ones, there's a lot more work for it. So they're gonna like the smaller conventions, they're gonna like try and do whatever they can to try and keep people, try and make them come back. You know, so they really want to put a lot of effort into this versus like the ones that are already established where they're like, okay, yeah, people are going to come back. So it doesn't matter if we mess this up. It doesn't matter if we mess this up because they're just going to come back. We're pretty known, you know, type thing. So I like going to the smaller conventions. So I found this one. Oh man, I don't know if I should say the name, but I found this convention. It was in Florida,
I'll
and
let
the
you say
guy
that.
seemed
I'm not
pretty cool.
gonna
You know, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a nice convention. You know, it was advertised real nice. A lot of effort looks like it was being put into it. Like, oh yeah, it's family friendly. And I'm thinking, wow, family friendly. Like, there's a kids event here. You know, like
Oh,
I can bring
you
my
said that
kids.
something after you
They
told
can come,
me. Yeah.
huh?
No, sorry. After you talking about this, I want to tell you about the spooky one. But keep going there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So like, yeah, I can bring my kids here. You know, they can have some fun because normally time when you go to a convention, it's not always kid friendly. So,
Right.
like, yeah, this looks great. You know, they got a circus in town that they're gonna have over here. A little like petting area for the animal petting area. I'm like, yeah, this would be a great convention. So, I bought the convention. Super excited, buying new stuff, buying banners, buying all kinds of stuff, getting rental cars, getting the hotel and everything. Everything's already bought and paid for. So, 2 nights before, when I'm getting ready to head out, I like to drive at night. So it's like I don't know, like 12 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. So getting ready to head out, and I get a text. Well, not a text, but I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see him post on there, and he's like, "Oh, he's canceling it, or no, not canceling. He's rescheduling it for like 2 months later." I'm like, bro, we already bought the ticket. Like, we already
Yeah.
paid for all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this is literally like the day before the event. You know, like, how you just gonna reschedule this? There's no notice at all. We can't get our money back.
Right.
So um, yeah, my girl, she looks at me and she goes, "Well, are you still gonna go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still gonna go because I had a client that was out there that was really excited to get a tattoo. I said I'm gonna, just look around, see if there's a shop that's willing to take me in and just kind of still work it out. We gonna figure this thing out, you know." So we did. We figured it out. We made it work. We made it work.
That's so crazy, bro. When you was telling me all that, and of
Yeah.
course, then I started like taking a little deep dive looking into it, and I ain't gonna say the name just because I don't know if you feel comfortable saying it, so I'm gonna throw it out there like that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, but man, shout out first off too. I don't know the name of the shop or the people that had you come in or whatever allowed you worked with you with that client, but shout out to them. And to all the other shops out there, because like I wasn't involved in this situation. I have nothing to do with none of this stuff. I wasn't going to that convention or anything like that. But just I know as a artist, as a business owner, as a family man, as as a person that wears all these hats too, dude. There's so much investment in all this. Not even just money, but also the money too. But all that investment, and then for that person to do this and to literally
Mm.
uh, basically shit on, like, I don't even know how many people, if you take consideration, like, I don't even know, let's say there's 100 artists and each one of them has 50% of them has a spouse, and that 50% of that has one or two kids. That's a lot of people to have just kind of tossed to the wind.
Oh yeah.
The
You
plan.
had there was artists flying in, buying plane tickets, like they got their kids coming, and plane tickets aren't cheap, man. You're paying like two, three kids a plane ticket, their wife and themselves, shipping luggage because you gotta pay for the to check baggage and stuff like that. So then to turn around, get a hotel, get a rental car, all this other stuff, just for it to be canceled like 2 days before the event.
Right.
Like it's pretty shitty. But I mean, hey
But
man, we try to make it work. But yeah, shout out to the shop, Stigma Inc. and in Florida, Tampa, Florida. But I'm just so blessed that like when it did happen, a lot of artists and shop owners in the area of Florida all pitched in together and was like, look, let's try and find these artists someplace to at least do their appointments. And that's like, I feel like that really showed me the power of like what the tattoo industry is really about because everyone came together to actually make it happen, like
right.
okay, we all been through this like this tragic event, but for the most part, let's at least try and work together and make something happen. So there were shop owners opening up the doors like when they didn't have to, which was amazing.
Yeah. Do you think I'm just this is literally just a curiosity question for me, but I love living in Florida, right? I love like living in like southern states. I was born and raised in Florida, and like southern hospitality is a real thing around where I live. I live in like north central Florida, right, Lake City, Florida. So like north central Florida is like not very far from Georgia line, um, And Southern hospitality, at least in my experience, is like a very big thing. Like everybody around
Mhm.
here, like I don't care, like old, young, black, white, green, it don't matter. Like everybody's like, what's up, bro? You hungry? Like, let's go hang out. And I love
Yeah,
that. So I've just like the hospitality thing is extremely big in my personal experience, at least. But do you think like all the shots would have done the same? I would, I want to be like yes, like absolutely before I even say this, but you never know. But like let's say if it was like California or like Colorado or New York, what I mean? Do you think the shop owners would have
man.
done the same thing?
Oh man, that's a good question. I feel like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If it was South Carolina in this area, probably not. I probably not, just because like from my experience, I've seen a lot of like shop owners where they're like assholes, and they can be. I'm not gonna say they all
Yeah,
are, but they can be.
yeah.
Um, if it was California, oh man, I want to say yeah. I do want to say yeah. I feel like I've been to California a couple times to know like how some of the artists are out there, and
Mhm.
they all seem pretty genuine. So I want to say yeah. New York might, maybe, depending on the area you're in. The city, I don't know, probably not.
So when you say like,
But
I've never been. Me and my wife want to go. We want to travel a lot. Like I think January we're scheduling a trip with one of the other artists at the shop, Josh and his wife. We're going to kind of link up around like Tennessee and Pigeon Forge or whatever, for like a
yeah.
week, which would be super cool, man. But I want to start traveling too. When you say like New York, so I'm not super familiar with the area or anything like that. Are you talking about like what I imagine, or like New York City? Or are you talking about like upstate New York or whatever, like more country, rural, like New York?
So I'm from upstate New York, which is like 2 hours from the city, which is
Mhm.
great because you don't gotta deal with all the traffic.
Right.
The city area, it's kind of more, it's kind of hard to explain. So like the outskirts of the city is like the upstate area or whatever. Um, I used to go there a lot. That's actually that's where I'm from.
Mhm.
The city area is more busier. A lot of people in there, kind of dirty-ish. Really expensive.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Have you noticed, like, and just again, like a curiosity question, because you've traveled a lot more. Have you noticed like a big difference on like, well, I think you've talked about this actually. There's definitely a difference in what the average like consumer wants to get tattooed, depending on where you're at geographically. And I think that, like, to me, that just makes sense, just because of the shit they see,
Hmm.
like their average like day of life, what they're doing, what they're into. You know what I mean? Totally makes sense to me. But and then kind of stemming with that or from that, or however that works, the artist are putting out like they have like Cali's known for like their like style, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got these different areas that are kind of like known for like different things. Like you was actually we were talking about probably one time, and I think you're absolutely right. Do you think there's like a difference in like the way the shops conduct themselves too, like based off different places you've been?
Say that last part again. How different shots can what now?
Like the way that they conduct themselves, like do you think like, well, I know like you were saying the other night we were talking like a lot of shops, how like there's a transition kind of going on right now with a lot of artists where they're going like more private, versus like your typical like street shop, but aside from that,
Yeah,
like, I don't know how like even shops operate, to be real with you. Like I've had one for years,
yeah.
but I haven't been to a lot of them. So like, I always wonder, like going from like state to state, if like just like the client experience is like vastly different going into them, if they're all kind of the same. I
I
see
feel
these.
like I feel like the experience is different. Excuse me. I feel like the experience is different. For example, I don't get the same experience that I got from New York to California with California. Like they're vastly different. As far as like people, the shop, the way artists work. Like there's so many different like like different stuff that's just different. Like um the way California kind of conducts itself is like, I feel like, well, it might just be the area of the state as well too, because like for instance in the country, like, in New York, we just like look at just New York for example, right? In the city of New York, you got a lot more artists that are more dedicated. they're more hungry for what it is. They care about the art, this and that. But on the outskirts of New York, can't speak for all shops, but majority of them is like not that great. They're more focused on the money part, this and that. Which I mean, I feel like it kind of makes sense if you're like dealing in a rural area versus like something that's like a city area or whatever, because there's more money to play with there. Like in the city, there's a lot more money in there to be involved or whatever. So people are gonna probably spend more money on tattoos because they have it versus like in a rural area where it's more cheaper and people don't really have a lot depending on like what kind of work they do or whatnot. But
Yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of factors that play into that to really determine to how the experience is going to be.
yeah.
Um, but I do notice like every state is different. Every state is different for sure.
Right. So this is totally like not doing none of that, but I'm just curious, like with your design process, do you use AI? How do you feel about AI?
So I think I said this to some in one of the questions, right? So I feel like this is what I feel like. I know a lot of artists are gonna have their own personal opinions about it,
Yeah,
this and
oh,
that,
man, they
but
get bent.
huh?
I said they get bent out of shape. Some of them, man.
Yeah, so this is what I feel like, okay? I feel like it is in an artist like nature to explore and endure art, right? Like that's what we are. We're supposed to be built to just as an artist, we look at things, we want to change it. Even like interior designers, they look at something, oh, this should be different, or let's try this, or put this in here, see how this look. We're trying new things to try and grow,
Yeah,
right? And that's just how we are as artists, and no matter what you do. Um, like, so I feel like with AI being the way it is now, I think it shouldn't be something that artists should fear. I think it should be something that we should use as a tool to grow our art instead of trying to be like, oh, I'm just gonna stay away from it.
yeah,
But for example, when I first started I've been tattooing for 7 years. When I first started, there wasn't even no rotary machines. There wasn't no pen machines,
oh god, yeah. The
now everyone's using it. So like, and the ones that aren't using it, I'm not gonna say that their work isn't great or like they're just like I'd say they're probably just stuck in their ways, but I feel like they should at least give it a try. Eventually you're gonna have to give it a try. But I
yeah,
mean, I feel like that's just how art is just evolving. It should be something we should be using as a tool. Um, Now going back to what you said as far as designing, so when I design, I don't essentially just use AI. I use AI as a way to kind of pivot from to bring it to my own style.
right,
So like for example, if I'm gonna do like a horror piece or whatever, I mean I would like just look at a couple of AI pictures, see where it's going, and then see what I can change personally to bring
yeah,
it into my style. So instead of like diving straight into the AI style, I would take AI and dive it into my style, bring it into my domain or my style. So that way it has my personality in there instead of just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pull up an AI picture and just copy and paste it.
yeah.
But
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, so just so I go back and forth on some of this stuff, but as far as like I think you said it perfectly. Using it as a tool, like anything, like you said, perfect example, like when rotary pens started, same
mhm.
with, I started roughly tattooing, 10, 12 years ago, something like that, technically, even though like the first half of the career, man, we're going to just go and say, don't even count, guys, because, I was doing dumb shit, it's just fucking not in Pluto half the time. So we're not going to count that. But things we're not proud of. But those like man, like the tattoo machines, started like slowly evolving, and people are like, oh, you
Mhm.
shouldn't even like. I remember people like, no, you should never use a rotary machine when you're first tattooing. You should only use the coil because you
Yep.
would mess people up with a rotary. Dude, there's no way in hell I'd want to teach somebody with a coil. Me speaking for myself, because I don't want them to have to think about the 1900 things that go along with a coil machine, because that you need to know to make it properly work and function, and for the task at hand, right?
Mhm.
I want you to take a lot of that out of the factors out of that, so you can focus more on the tattoo itself, right? As much as
Yeah.
possible, at least. And I still feel the same way. But like the adaptations of like all the AI. Like I know, speaking for ourselves, I've caught myself now, like. Like for example, I use a lot of different ones as tools. So for example, we have an AI that helps answer the phone now. Okay, and it's so crazy.
Hmm.
If you call our
Yeah.
business phone, and if we can't get to it, Leo will answer, and you can have a whole conversation with him. And it's kind of weird, but it's super helpful, honestly. I use like different AIs to correct my like grammar and stuff, man. Because when I type things out or I say things or not say things, when I type things out, I will misspell like half of it. It's horrible. So I won't. I don't want you to write it for me, but I want you to go back and correct it, right? Same with like
Right.
tattoos though. So like I'll go through and like if say I'm using AI and I want some badass reference pictures, and stuff to just to make things efficient, not to be super reliant on it. Because there's some people on there, bro. They're like, if they don't understand the art side of things or they're not progressively trying to get better at the art side of things as an artist, these people, we've all seen it. They'll be like photos, like a good example, bro, is like one of them. I seen it a long time ago. This person that took a tattoo off Pinterest and literally copied everything, and they accidentally tattooed the nipple from the picture of the person's chest on the other client. All right, like
No.
yeah, like never. I don't even know the
Dang.
name to say it anyways, but I wouldn't if I did. But like, yeah. So it's like I think wild example, but still,
That's
I feel like
crazy.
AI is the kind of same way, bro. Like if I'm like prompted in, let's say the client wants like a dragon chewing on a piece of gold that's dripping out of its mouth, right? And we prompted an AI and like we get like these badass pictures. If it's like something completely unique and it's amazing and it's exactly what they want, I really don't see a reason to change too much of it necessarily, except for the fact that maybe I want to change some things just to make it more my own. But otherwise, if it's amazing, it's unique, like why not? I don't see a problem with it as long as it goes along with
Hmm.
everything else too that we're doing with them. Because I always try to because they're always going to want to come back for more. You know what I mean? If you do a good job, I feel like. But
Yeah.
then you got some people, man. They use these AIs and they're like they don't even think about it. They're like, yeah, it looks good, and then they don't even realize that there's seven fingers on the person's.
Yeah. Just slapping and pasting it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well,
Yeah, it's
here
crazy.
in a minute, we'll hop off, bro. I know it's getting a little bit late. I gotta get my kid to school early in the morning too.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, same here.
You're awesome, bro. So I appreciate you so much. First off, for taking the time out from you and your family and everything else that you got going on. I know you're super busy. So our first episode, of the Ink Exchange, uh, which I'm super excited for. I hope I get to do more of these, maybe in the future with you and other artists. Hopefully, if anybody sees this, and you're an artist or a shop owner or have anything to do with tattoos or really just in general, you want to get on here and chat, but specifically, trying to focus more on the tattoo industry with this at least. Message me or DM me if you're interested. And like we said for Savon, I want to definitely for all the his information that he wants to have readily available for y'all. I'm going to put links in there in the description of this, so it makes it super easy to find him and to reach out to him if you're looking, to get any tattoos done or whatever it may be. That's between y'all, you know what I mean. But he's a super nice guy, obviously, So we'll have all that on there. Is one last quick question. In the future, man, do you have any like big plans, any things for us to expect? Are you like designing some crazy product I don't know about, or like, like
No, not as right now, no. But next year, I'm trying to focus more on just travel part. So I'm just gonna be focusing more on like hitting different states, trying to do more conventions, more guest spots, just really focus on the traveling part in general, as far as the tattooing part, instead of like being home based in South Carolina. But as of right now, that's pretty much it, you know.
cool, man. Well, we can't wait to see you a lot more. And with your permission, I'll throw some possibly some of your artwork and stuff and clipped in at the end, whatever you want us to show,
Absolutely.
for you, man. And y'all will see this on this YouTube channel, but I believe he might be posting some, whether it be the whole video or shorts, whatever he wants to do. You'll see this all over a bunch of different social media feeds, hopefully. So yeah, man. I guess thank you. I'm about to whenever we hop off because it's the first one, or when you click, just don't close out the browser and all that stuff just yet. I'll FaceTime you if you're cool with that on the phone, but and
Okay.
explain why. But because learning process for us guys. So but yeah, man, I guess we'll see if we can get episode 2 rolling out here soon after this one's posted.
Oh yeah.
All right, brother. You have a good night,
All
man.
right,
Stay
man.
blessed.
All right, man. You too.